Hello and welcome to After Town Hall Community Events Breakout Room. We are here to discuss community calendars and their effects on our experience or on our virtual experience of Catalyst. Lots of events happen around Catalyst in the ether of Discord, Zoom, Telegram, calls, this, that, Twitter Spaces. It would be nice to be able to access the APIs of all of these services that people can put an event up. Meetup's a big one, and be able to create some sort of centralized service that could pull all these events and create a JSON file for each one of those that we will create a metadata standard for, with an improvement proposal that gets that recognized by the broader community, so that then we can keep so that any new tools that come in that help us wrangle community events can be evenly distributed. I was hoping that once we can pull all the events from all the different places, they end up in a repository or something somewhere as individual JSONs, and then they can be tagged based off of something in the description, or however we do the metadata standard for that, and teach people how to participate in this tool, but then be able to have some other tool. This wouldn't be in the same proposal, but that would be able to take each one of those event cards essentially and sort and aggregate them based off of like a tag or whatever that we have in the metadata standard that can be embedded in your personal website or your products page, that says, if you're interested, these are either all of the Catalyst events, and you can have access to a Google Calendar link or whatever through my page, because I can create that and aggregate that for you. Or I could say, these are the select groups, these are the 3 projects that I'm following that I'm inviting you to follow along with me, and have that on my page. But at the end of the day, anyone can go to that repository and see all of the events that are happening throughout the ecosystem, because we're scraping for that, or we'll build something that will repetitively or frequently scrape for that, and then be able to have more equality on the signal, hopefully, because we have what I've noticed in the last 2 years being around Project Catalyst is that there are essentially 2 or 3 announcement channels that people get to see, and they've been held by IOG, and those are definitely the strongest ones. Now I could spam 17 different Telegram groups. I used to be able to, actually can't anymore, and let some other people know. But at the end of the day, the biggest pulse we have is that newsletter that Danny sends out every Friday with, I don't know, 30,000 people or something on it like that. That's a number I've heard. I've never seen the metric from Google or any shit, or MailChimp or any shit like that. So grain of salt there. Anyway, that's a little introduction to community calendar, a community calendar, and super thankful you're here, Darlington. Thanks for showing up, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Glad to see other faces in here. So I've been struggling to rally up another developer that the timing works to do a feasibility thing. Um, so, but we need to write this proposal and write V1.
Right.
So here's my idea. Um,
Well, Darlington, I've got a
this
list of proposals I'm working on right now, so I'll just have to add that one in there as part of the list of proposals that we can start looking into.
Yeah. I was wanting us to just quickly do so we can sort of know what budget, to just quickly look at what technical direction we intend to go in. And I don't know. I know in the proposal, if you can sort of talk a little bit about the tech, or at least your direction, the proposal is a little stronger. I know we don't. Oh, do we still have feasibility? Yeah. Wait. Yes, we do, right? We
Yeah, we
still have
still have feasibility.
feasibility.
What
Yeah.
happened was
Yeah.
auditability was replaced by value. But I would
yeah,
say
audit beta was the
I
one
would
that
say
was
that
replaced.
unless we ask for extravagant amounts of funds, the value for this to the Cardano, I think both the impact and the money value of this is high, so long as we don't, again, ask extravagant sums of money to do this. If we're creative and use existing open source things, to build this out so that it's not not a build from scratch kind of deal, that there's some real potential here to get an MVP product in this. I've said it. I know you guys, most everybody in this room at least has heard me say it. One of the single largest problems with blockchain is discoverability, and this is a way to solve discoverability. That's why these kinds of things are important, because you can build all this stuff, but if no one can read it, they aren't going to use it. And that's why I'm here today for this, because this is a discoverability thing, and I want to get behind those kind of tools, because that's currently holding up adoption.
Yeah, that's a huge piece. So I think with the next steps, I know Gimbal Lab's doing that carnival thing. So I was thinking if I just pull that up, I don't
Yeah, are
have
there
it
any
handy
slots?
right now.
There any slots
I
for
was
that?
in one of those meetings. I think that is one of the idea on there. There's just no date on it yet. And there's no one has like claimed it to say we're gonna do this. But also that carnival isn't super structured, right? So you don't have to like show up at a place or anything like that. I mean, you can do your own Zoom, you can do your own recording, and if you want it on the Gimbal Labs YouTube channel, you can send it to them and they will add it there. So this Saturday, I know Swarm does stuff on Saturday, at least they used to before the calendar is paused. But I was thinking this Saturday at noon to spin up a carnival instance and just play with some open source tools, just like a an hour or so hackathon, basically to sort of to gauge how much work this would be and what open source tools there are. And then if you're available, Peter, or anybody else who's available this Saturday, we could draft a proposal, at like, sometime after 1 p.m. Central or something. While that information is fresh in my head, or whoever else wants to help with the tech, we can go straight into proposal drafting. That's my proposal for this, for this meeting. What do you guys think?
Seems fair.
That seems fair. That type of initiative, just throwing down an event time, is important usually when coordinating these things. As soon as you start asking, let's wrangle it, you never end up wrangling anything. And we learned that last week or the week before. So I can this Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking this Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Pete, send me a calendar invite if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll throw it on my actual calendar.
All right, I'll make sure to coordinate with Darlington, because I haven't submitted anything for Carnival yet. They just started doing that, and I went to Gimbal Labs last month or whatever. So
right.
Since this new event format has gone through. All right.
Are we considering an on-chain component of this?
That would be part of the discussion.
Okay.
And like trying to figure out, is it feasible to do an on-chain now as part of this module, as a second module follow-up, or
Right.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. There's obvious utility that could come from having a
right. If it's on-chain,
standard.
that could increase the scope, and like having to deal with metadata and like agree on that and workshop that metadata. Alternatively, it could be just distributed using Git or something.
Sure.
As a next step, and then go on chain from there once we have 100 events, and we start to see what the metadata schema could look like to match 99% of the events out there in a nice
Right.
way or something.
Yeah, and if you catch in the high 90s, then everybody will just come along with meta spec.
Right.
I appreciate that idea.
Yeah, Simon, hop in. Anyone else hop in as well?
Yeah, so I'm just jumping in and I was listening in because I thought it was interesting. The title is the community calendar, and I kind of have an idea what you guys are talking about, but I'm a bit out. Like I'm not really grasping it. So you want to make an on-chain calendar for all the community events? Because I mean, fundamentally, I think it's really hard to keep track of everything. So direction is pretty good, but maybe, yeah, maybe you can give me a bit of a summary. And I don't want to, you know,
No
yeah,
worries.
I just
No
jumped in.
worries.
So
No worries. Here, I'll tell you. So yeah, we're looking at building a tool that helps aggregate calendar community events from different places. So let's say you have an event that you're hosting for Zerbia, so you put it up on your Discord server. Well, you could also attach your Discord server to this service and allow it to scrape any event that you put up on your Discord server, or you connect your Google Calendar, a Google Calendar to it, and then any event that you put on that Google Calendar would go into this pile. And then we could essentially have the opportunity for other people to build tools to re-aggregate and distribute that pile of events that we are then collecting with different permissions and whatever. That's why there would be a metadata standard that would help with kind of doing some of this sorting. And yeah, because the biggest problem, one of the big problems that I've seen in the last 2 years being around Catalyst is that lots of stuff is happening around, but your vision of what's going on is only as good as you are scraping 17 different social media apps. And so, and dealing with, and are turned into some sort of notification wizard, and which requires a level of expertise that no one has. So,
yeah.
So at the nugget of this, to just jump in, it's just that aggregation piece. That's like the first. How do we get all the calendars events in one stream that everybody can access?
Yeah.
Right. And so if we build kind of a structure that is relatively easy for people to link their calendars, their Discord servers, et cetera, in, then we can have a budget to maintain that over a full year, and then proposals in the future could be how to improve it, how to get it on chain, which I still think is a good idea.
Yeah, on chain would be cool. This is like a centralized solution for a distributed network problem, and we're trying to step towards
right. And that's decentralization's a journey, right?
Yeah.
That's like the mantra is that decentralization's a journey. So this gets us one step closer, because I like the idea that this gets us to where we can see what people are putting out, and then we can compare that. So that would help build a metadata spec that, if you create a policy ID, and then you create, like, heck, it's fungible token or whatever, you create some token, that represents the event, and maybe a different one that represents an ongoing event that's every week. You know what I'm saying? You can have a couple of different specs in there, and once that's there, all we really need is scrape the policy IDs that that are these event policy IDs, and then anybody can build their calendar off of that.
Pretty cool. Could also be a reputation, right? Because I've been to a few Cardano events, and it's just cool if I could show that off, right? That I'm collecting T-shirts. But maybe that would be cool to have like kind of a badge that one can wear. And no, absolutely cool and very needed.
Excellent.
Yeah, even before we get to that on-chain space too, right? We can definitely keep the budget and the maintenance and like the labor on one organization low by using distributed systems, if not Git, IPFS, something that, you don't have to set up a bunch of servers and like MySQL databases and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Git would be useful if we can write something that's going to make it easy for people to submit without having to use Git themselves. Because the biggest thing I'm going to say is that most of the people in the community that are building the events are not the developers in the community. They're too busy developing to be promoting events, with you being a rare exception, Darlington.
Yes.
But it's mostly
that makes sense.
Mostly lay support staff setting up and running the events.
Yeah.
So Git is great, but we're going to need to use the Git API, and we're going to need to build a relatively easy front end for people to just post events or post recurring events, something along those lines, if we choose Git, so that we don't alienate that group of people that otherwise would put all their events in.
Oh no, 100%. And between like GitHub Actions, or I think GitLab calls them pipelines or something, and like Vercel has a pretty free tier for open source projects as far as launching static pages that could talk to APIs and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
Oracle
that's
has one now too. Oracle has a good free tier now. If we needed to host something.
So for the people who are just joining, this Saturday, as a Git Gimbal Lab Carnival event, we're going to double click on some of these ideas around Git. Do we do IPFS? Do we do a GitHub, GitLab, Oracle? Try to get a good technical direction. And then also this Saturday, we were gonna try to do a draft of the proposal if people are interested. Do you want to post the link to the Discord?
Yeah.
Where the coordination's happening.
You want me to post it again for you, Pete? I've got it.
Yeah, I got it too. Go ahead. Sweet. Yeah,
if you're interested, yeah. Go ahead, Peter.
So yeah, I was gonna make the calendar event and take emails right now. Just then we can add to it at ongoing. So I got let's see, 1700 UTC Saturday. Darlington, that's 1 CT, I'm pretty sure, 1 p.m.
No, 1700
for the draft.
Yeah. So that's Eastern, 1 Eastern, I believe.
Oh yeah, so it would be noon East. 1700 is noon CT. 1
I
p.m.
don't know
Eastern.
what
you're right.
What you're saying?
Sorry.
I'm gonna say in UTC time.
Yes.
So.
All right. So give me the UTC time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fucked
So
it
yeah,
up.
1700 UTC for the carnival technical discussion and like hackathon, mini hackathon, and then maybe 1830 for the proposal drafting.
Okay.
And that's Saturday?
Yes, this Saturday.
I thought they were doing those carnivals on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's flexible. We're gonna yeah, I don't think it's super strict. Seems like it's been hard to get people to cross schedule on Tuesday. But it doesn't. I don't think it has to be on Tuesday. They're not doing a normal Tuesday thing, but the carnival instance can be on any day you want, really. That's my understanding too.
Yeah, I haven't been to one of the Tuesday sessions since this carnival iteration, Matt. So we're going for it.
Because if they just did it on Tuesday, they're not going to be able to do all the. There's not be enough time to do all the things that's on there.
Yeah, so we got
ideas on there.
So we got hackathon 1700 to 1830, and then proposal draft for 1830 to, let's do that for an hour. We got ChatGPT.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna copy this. Proposal drafting. All right. Well, with that, please add your emails to the chat, and if you want to be invited to this, I already have the invite to the Discord server and channel where we will be doing any last minute discussions about this event, and where you can catch up on our historic chat async conversation on the topic as well. So yeah, throw your emails in the chat. I'll add you the calendar invite. And with that, peace.